How gone? Frederick Treves, your new lecturer in anatomy.
Age 31. Books on scrofula and applied surgical anatomy. I'm happy to see you rising, Mr. Treves. I like to see merits credited, and your industry accomplishment and skill will do you credit. Ignore the squalor of Whitechapel, the general dinginess, neglect and poverty without, and you'll find a continual medical richesse in the London hospital. We study and treat the widest range of diseases and disorders, and are certainly the greatest institution of our kind in the world. The Empire provides unparalleled opportunities for our studies, as places cruel to life are the most revealing scientifically. Add to our reputation by going further, that'll satisfy. You've bought a house?
On Wimpole Street.
Good. Keep at it, Treves. You'll have an FRS and 100 guinea fees before you're 40. You'll find it is an excellent consolation prize.
Consolation? I don't know what you mean.
I know you don't. You will.
A happy childhood in Dorset. A scientist in an age of science. In an English age, an Englishman. A teacher and a doctor at the London. 2 books published by my 31st year. A house. A wife who loves me. And, oh my God, 100 guinea fees before I'm 40. Consolation for what? As of the year AD 1884, I, Freddie Treves, have excessive blessings. Or so it seems to me.
Tuppence only, step in and see. This side of the grave, John Merrick has no hope nor expectation of relief. In every sense, his situation is desperate. His physical agony is exceeded only by his mental anguish, a despised creature without consolation. Tuppence only, step in and see. To live with his physical hideousness, incapacitating deformities and unremitting pain is trial enough. But to be exposed to the cruelly lacerating expressions of horror and disgust by all who behold him, it's even more difficult to bear. Tuppence only, step in and see. For in order to survive, Merrick forced himself to suffer these humiliations. I repeat, these humiliations in order to survive. Thus he exposed himself to crowds who pay to gape and yawp at this freak of nature, the Elephant Man. See Mother Nature uncorseted in malignant rage. Tuppence.
This sounds absurd. Half elephant, half man. It's not possible. Is he foreign?
Right, from Leicester, but nothing to fear.
I'm at the London across the road. I'd be curious to see him if there is some genuine disorder. If he is a mass of papier-mâché and paint, however...
Then pay me nothing. Enter, sir. Merrick, stand up, you bloody donkey. Up, up.
I must examine him further at the hospital. I'm Treves. Here is my card. I will have a cab pick him up and return him. My card will gain him admittance.
5 bobbies yours for the day.
I wish to examine him in the interests of science, you see.
Sir, I'm Ross. I look out for him, get him his living. Found him in a Leicester workhouse. His own ma put him there, age of 3. Well, she couldn't bear the sight, you can see why. Me and him, we're in business. He's our capital, see? Goes to a bank, go anywhere, he wants to borrow capital, he pays interest. Scientists even. He's good value though, you won't find another like him.
Ah, fair enough.
Right, out Merrick, you bloody donkey, out!
striking feature about him was his enormous head. Its circumference was about that of a man's waist. From the brow, there projected a huge bony mass, like a loaf, while from the back of his head hung a bag of spongy, fungus-looking skin, the surface of which was comparable to brown cauliflower. On the top of the skull were a few long, lank hairs. The osseous growth on the forehead, at this stage about the size of a tangerine, almost occluded one eye. From the upper jaw, there projected another huge mass of bone. It protruded from the mouth like a pink stump, turning the upper lip inside out and making the mouth a wide, slobbering aperture. The nose was merely a lump of flesh, recognizable as a nose only from its position. The deformities rendered the face utterly incapable of the expression of any emotion whatsoever. The back was horrible, because from it hung, as far down as the middle of the thigh, huge sack-like masses of flesh, covered by the same loathsome cauliflower stain. The right arm was of enormous size and shapeless. It suggested, but was not, elephantiasis, and was overgrown also with the same pendant masses of cauliflower-like skin. The right hand was large and clumsy, a fin or paddle rather than a hand. No distinction existed between the palm and the back. The thumb was like a radish, the fingers like thick, tuberous roots. As a limb, it was useless. The other arm was remarkable by contrast. It was not only normal, but was moreover a delicately shaped limb, covered with a fine skin, and provided with a beautiful hand, which any woman might have envied. From the chest hung a bag of the same repulsive flesh. It was like a dewlap suspended from the neck of a lizard. The lower limbs had the characters of the deformed arm. They were unwieldy, dropsicle-looking, and grossly misshapen. There arose from the fungus skin growths a very sickening stench, which was hard to tolerate. To add a further burden to his trouble, the wretched man, when a boy, developed hip disease, which left him permanently lame, so that he could only walk with a stick. Please. He was thus denied all means of escape from his tormentors.
Mr. Treves, you have shown a profound and unknown disorder to us. You have said that when he leaves here, it is for his exhibition again. Well, I do not think it ought to be permitted. It is a disgrace. It is a pity and a disgrace. Well, it is an indecency, in fact. It may be a danger in ways we do not know. Something ought to be done about it.
I am a doctor. What would you have me do?
Well, I know what to do. I know.
Now, my pin-headed darlings, your attention, please. Every freak in Brussels Fair is doing something to celebrate Leopold's 5th year at the King of the Congo. Him, our king, our empire.
We are the...
No! Don't start reciting yet, you morons! farewell. And when you do it right. Otherwise, it's back to the asylum. And you know what that means, don't you? They'll cut your heads, they'll spoon out your little brains, and replace them in a dash hole where they were nicked from. Yeah. Cut you! I'll be back with customers.
Please, come and have a look at the Queen of the Congo.
Cosmos? Cosmos?
Congo, land of darkness. Look at them, lad. It's freer on the continent. Loads of indecency here. No one minds. You won't get the coppers sent round to roust you out like London. Reckon in Brussels, here's our fortune. You have a little tete-a-tete with this lot, while I go see the coppers about our licence to exhibit. I'll be right back.
I come from England.
Hello.
At home, they chased us out of London. Police. Someone complained. They beat me. You have no trouble? No?
Hello. Hello.
Hello. In Belgium, we make money. I look forward to it. Happiness, I mean. You pay your police. How is it done?
Hello. Hello.
We do a show together sometime, yes? I have saved £48, 2 shillings, 9 pence. English money. Ross takes care of it.
Hello. Hello.
Little vocabulary problem, eh? Poor thing. Looks like they put your noses to the grindstone and forgot to take them away.
They're coming! Now!
We are the queens of the Congo, the beautiful virgin and pride. Our diggers are bigger, our miners are finer. Empire and pride, Congo and power. Civilization's finest hour. Admire, inspire, desire, acquire. We'll set you on fire!
You crazy! Sorry. They're not ready yet, sorry. And you girls, get it right! Otherwise...
Don't cry. You sang nicely. Don't cry. There.
I was promised a permit. I'll light a tour up on that.
This is a brutal, indecent and immoral display. It is a public indecency and it's forbidden here.
What about them with their perfect cone heads?
They're ours.
Competition's good for business. Where's your spirit of competition?
Right here.
Boy, don't do that, you're kidding.
Better be dead, you decent bastard!
Don't cry, girls. It doesn't hurt.
Indecent.
Austerity will always mean bad memories. Won't it, Ross?
I've decided. I'm sending you back, lad. You're a flop. No, you're a liability. You ain't the money maker I figured. So that's it.
Alone? Here's some bottle if you bought. Have a nosh. I'm keeping the rest for my trouble. I deserve it, I reckon. Invested enough of you. Pick up your stink if I stick around. Stinker failure. Stinker lost years. Just stink, 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 stink.
Is this the one?
Yeah, can you see if Liverpool Street Station safe, will you? Here's for your trouble. Robbed!
What's he say?
Just makes sounds. Fella's an imbecile! Robbed! Bon voyage, Johnny. His name's Johnny. He knows his name, that's about all though.
Follow me, Johnny. Johnny, come on, boat now. If you don't find Johnny, a place out of sight. Don't struggle, Johnny, come on.
Robbed! Robbed!
Liverpool Street Station.
Well, we're safe in here. I've locked the door.
They were going to whip me to pieces. I never said anything like it. It's like being Gordon a bleeding cartoon.
You've got anywhere to go, lad. You can't stay here.
He's an imbecile we don't understand. Got to search him.
Hey, you got any money? Rob. What's that?
He just makes sounds. Well, frightening sounds is all he makes. I'll go through his coat.
Jesus. If you don't let me go through your coat, I'll turn you over to that lot out there. All right, it was only a joke. All right, you don't upset yourself.
Joke?
Yeah,
Joke.
croak.
Jesus.
Policeman's helmet and all that. Yeah. What's this? Yeah. Got a card here. Yeah. Are you John Merrick? Yeah, what's this card here saying? Then, Johnny, what's all this about then? Somebody give you a card, eh?
Oh, what's he say?
No. Mr. Frederick Treves, lecturer in anatomy at the London Hospital.
I'll go see if I can find him.
Yeah.
It's not far.
All right. What's that door?
Coming through!
Well, what does he do then, this Mr. Frederick Treves? Does he lecture you on your anatomy? People who think right don't look like that, and do they? Yeah, croak. Yeah, Treves.
What is going on here? For God's sakes, look at that mob. Have you no sense of decency? I am Treves, this is my card.
Yeah, well, this poor wretch here had it. He's just arrived from Ostend.
Oh. Good Lord. Merrick. John Merrick. What has happened to you?
Help me.
are, Miss Sandwich.
Sandwich, yes.
You have had experience in missionary hospitals in the Niger.
And Ceylon.
I may assume you've seen...
Oh, the tropics. Oh, those diseases. The many and the awful scourges our Lord sends. Yes, sir.
Well, I need the help of an experienced nurse, you see.
And someone to bring him food and take care of the room. Yes, I understand, but it is somehow difficult.
Well, I have been let down so far. He really is, well, that is... The regular sisters, well, it's not part of their job, and they will not do it. Be ordinarily kind to Mr. Merrick, without, well, panicking. He is quite beyond ugly, you understand that. His appearance has terrified them.
The photographs show a terrible disease.
Well, it is a disorder, not a disease. It is in no way contagious, although we don't in fact know what it is. I have found, however, that there is a deep superstition in those that I have tried. They actually believe he somehow brought it upon himself, this thing. And of course it is not that at all.
I am not one who believes that we attain grace or bring chastisement to ourselves, sir.
Miss Sandwich, I am hoping not.
Let me put your mind to rest. Care for lepers in the East, and you have cared, Mr. Treves. In Africa, I have seen dreadful scourges, quite unknown to us in our more civilized climes. What at home could be worse than a miserable, afflicted, rotting black?
Oh, yes, I imagine.
Appearances do not daunt me.
It is really that has sent me outside the confines of the London seeking help.
I look unto the hills whence cometh my help. I understand. I believe I will be satisfactory.
Is lunch. Perhaps you'd be so kind as to accompany me this time. I will introduce you.
Oh, allow me to carry the tray.
I will this time. You ready?
I am.
He's bathing to be rid of his odour. Ah, John, this is Miss Sandwich. She has...
Oh, Almighty God in heaven! Oh.
I am sorry. I thought I...
Thank you for saving the lunch this time.
Excuse me. You have let me down, you know. I did everything to warn you, and still you let me down.
You didn't say.
But I told you.
You didn't. You said just words.
Oh, but the photographs.
Just pictures. Oh, nobody will do this. I'm sorry.
Yes. Well, this is not helping him.
With what fortitude he bears his cross, it is remarkable. He has made the acquaintance of religion and knows sections of the Bible by heart. Once I grasped his speech, I became clear he certainly had religious instruction at one time.
I believe it was in the workhouse, Dr. Howard.
Yes, they're awfully good about that sometimes. But the Psalms he loves, and the book of Job perplexes him, he says, for he cannot see that a just God must cause suffering, as he puts it, merely then to be merciful. Yet that Christ will save him, he does not doubt, so he's not resentful.
Christ had better be damned if we can.
In any case, Mr. Treves, he has a religious nature, and further instruction would uplift him, and I'd be pleased to provide it. I plan to speak of him from the pulpit this week.
I see our visiting bather has flushed the busy Bishop Howe from his cruciform lair.
Speak with Merrick, sir. I have spoken to him of mercy and justice. There's a true Christian in the rough.
This makes my news seem banal. Yet, yes, Frederick, the response to my letter to the Times has been staggering. The English public has been so generous that Merrick may be supported for life without a penny spent from hospital funds.
Oh, but that is excellent.
God bless the English public.
Especially for not dismembering him at Liverpool Street Station. Freddie, London's no home for incurables. This is quite irregular. But for you, I permit it, though God knows what you'll do.
God does know, and Darwin does not.
He'd better, sir. He deformed him.
I had apprehensions coming here. I find it most fortunate that Merrick is in the hands of Dr. Treves, a Christian, sir.
Freddie is a good man and a brilliant doctor, and that is fortunate indeed.
I couldn't have raised the funds, though, Doctor.
Well, don't let me keep you any longer from your duties, Mr. Treves. Yet, Mr. Gong, consider, is it science, sir, that motivates us when we transport English rule of law to India or Ireland? When good British churchmen leave hearth and home for missionary hardship in Africa, is it science, sir, that bears them away? Sir, it is not. It is a Christian duty. It is the obligation to bring our light and benefices to benighted man. That motivates us, even as it motivates Treves towards Merrick, sir, to bring salvation where none is. Gordon was a Christian, sir, and died at Khartoum for it, not for science, sir.
Telling me, not for science?
Mr. Treves, I'll visit Merrick weekly if I may.
Oh, you'll be welcome, sir, I'm certain.
Then good day, sirs.
Well, Jesus, my boy, now we have the money. What do you plan for Merrick?
Normality, as far as it's possible.
So he'll be like us. Ah,
Is something wrong, Mr. Gong? With us?
How long is as long as I like?
Well, you may stay for life. The funds exist.
Been reading this about homes for the blind. Wouldn't mind going to one when I have to move.
But you do not have to move. And you're not blind.
I would prefer it when no one stared at me.
no one will bother you here.
Certainly not. I've given instructions.
What I tell you?
Oh, God almighty! Oh, Mr. Treves, Mr. Gong.
You were told not to do this. I don't understand. Surely you have work.
Yes,
you must
sir.
not lurk about.
Yes, sir.
Well, it is infuriating when you are told a thing. You must listen. I won't have you gaping in on my patience. Kindly remember that.
Isn't a patient, sir, is he?
Do not let me find you here again.
Didn't know you were here, sir. We'll be off now.
No, Will. Mr. Treves was precisely saying no one would intrude when you intruded.
He is warned now. Merrick does not like it.
He was warned before. On what penalty, Will?
That you'd sack me, sir.
You are sacked. You, his friend. You work here.
It started last week, sir.
Well, I hope the point is taken now.
Mr. Cobb, I ain't truly sacked, have I?
Well, yes. Truly sacked. You will never be more truly sacked.
It's not me. My wife's not well. My sister's having to look after our kids and her.
Well, think of them first next time.
It ain't as if I was interfering with his medicine.
That is exactly what it is. May go.
Just keeping him to look at in private. That's all, isn't it?
There are priorities, Frederick. The first is discipline. Smooth is a passage to the tight ship's master. Merrick, you're safe from prying now.
Well, have we nothing to say, John?
if all that had stared at me had been sacked, there'd be whole towns out of work.
I meant thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We always do say please and thank you, don't we?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
If we want to properly be like others,
Yes, sir. I want to.
then it is for our own good, is it not?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Gon.
Sir, you are welcome.
You are happy here, John, are you not?
Yes.
The baths have rid you of the odour, have they not?
First chance I had to bathe regular. Leave.
And 3 meals a day, delivered to your room?
Yes, sir.
This is your promised land, is it not? A roof, food, protection, care? Is it not?
Right, Mr. Treves.
I will bet you don't know what to call this.
No, I don't know.
You call it home.
Never had a home before.
You have one now. Now say it, John. Home.
Home?
No. Really say it. I have a home. This is my... Well, go on.
I have a home. This is my home. This is my home. I have a home. For as long as I like.
But that is what home is.
That is what is home.
If I abide by the rules, I will be happy.
Yes, sir.
Well, don't be shy.
If I abide by the rules, I will be happy.
Very good. Why?
Why what?
Will you be happy?
Because it is my home?
No. Why do rules make you happy?
I don't know.
Of course you do.
No, I really don't.
But why does anything make you happy?
Like what? Like what?
All right, don't be upset. Rules make us happy because they are for our own good.
Okay.
Well, don't be shy, John. You can say it.
This is my home?
No. About rules making us happy.
They make us happy because they are for our own good.
Excellent. Now, I am submitting a follow-up paper on you to the London Pathological Society. It would help if you told me a little about your first year's job, to fill in gaps.
To fill in gaps? The workhouse where they put me, they beat you there like a drum. Boom, boom. Scrape the floor white, shine the pan, boom, boom. It never ends. The floor is always dirty. The pan is always tarnished. There is nothing you can do about it. You are always attacked anyway. Boom, 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 boom. Will the children go to the workhouse?
What children?
The children, the man he sacked.
Of necessity, we'll find other employment. You don't want crowds staring at you, do you?
No.
In your own home, you do not have to have crowds staring at you, or anyone. Do you? In your home?
No.
Well then, Mr. Gone was merciful. You yourself approve. Is it not so? Well, is it not so?
If your mercy is so cruel, what do you have for justice?
I'm sorry, it's just the way things are.
Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom.
You have seen photographs of John Merrick, Mrs. Kendall. You are acquainted with his appearance.
He reminds me of an audience I played Cleopatra for in Brighton once. All huge, grim head and grimace, and utterly unable to clap.
Well, my aim is to lead him to as normal a life as possible. His terror of us all comes from having been held at arm's length from society. I am determined that shall end. For example, he loves to meet people and converse. I am determined that he shall. For example, he'd never seen the inside of any normal home before. I had him to mind, Mrs. Kendall, and what a reward! His astonishment, his joy at the most ordinary things. Most critical, however, I feel, are women. I will explain. They have always shown the greatest fear and loathing of him, whilst he adores them, of course.
Ah, he is intelligent.
I am convinced that they are the key to retrieving him from his exclusion. Though, I must warn you, women are not quite real to him. More creatures of his imagination.
Then he is already like other men, Mr. Treves.
So I thought an actress could help. I mean, unlike most women, you won't give in. You're trained to hide your true feelings and assume others.
You mean, unlike most women, I am famous for it. That is really all.
In any case, if you could enter the room and smile and wish him good morning, and when you leave, shake his hand. The left one is quite usable and really rather beautiful. And say, I'm very pleased to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick.
Shall we try it? Left hand out, please.
Oh.
I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick. I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick. I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick. I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance, Mr. Merrick. Yes, that one.
My God, they are all splendid. Merrick will be so pleased. It will be the day he becomes a man like other men.
Speaking of that, Mr. Treves.
Oh, Frederick, please.
Freddie.
Oh,
May I commit an indiscretion?
yes.
I could not help but noticing from the photographs that, of the unafflicted parts, how shall I put it?
Oh, I see. I quite understand. No, it's quite normal.
I thought as much.
Medically speaking, you see, the papillomatous extrusions which disfigure him seem to correspond quite regularly to the osseous deformities. That is, excuse me. There is a link, you see, between the bone disorder and the skin growths. Although for the life of me I have not discovered what it is or why it is, but, well, in any case, this part, it would therefore be unlikely to be afflicted because, well, I mean, there is no bone in it. None at all, I mean.
Well, learn a little every day, don't we?
I'm horribly embarrassed.
Are you? Then he must be lonely indeed.
He is making sketches for a model of St. Philip's Church. He wants someday to make a model, you see. Ah, John, my boy. This is Mrs. Kendall. She would very much like to make your acquaintance.
Good morning, Mr. Merrick.
I will see to a few matters. I'll be back soon.
I planned so many things to say. I forget them. You are so beautiful.
Charming, Mr. Merrick.
Well, really, that was what I planned to say. That I forgot what I planned to say. I couldn't think of anything else. I was so excited.
Real charm is always planned, don't you think?
Well, I do not know why I look like this, Mrs. Kendall. My mother was so beautiful. She was knocked down by an elephant in a circus while she was pregnant. Something must have happened, don't you think?
It may well have.
It may well have. But sometimes I think my head is so big because it is so full of dreams. Because it is. Do you know what happens when dreams cannot get out?
Why, no.
I don't either. Something must. Well, you are a famous actress.
I am not unknown.
You must display yourself for your living then, like I did.
That is not myself, Mr. Merrick. That is an illusion. This is myself.
This is myself too.
Frederick says you like to read. So, books?
I am reading Romeo and Juliet now.
Juliet, what a love story. I adore love stories.
I like love stories best too. If I had been Romeo, guess what?
What?
I would not have held the mirror to her breath.
You mean the scene where Juliet appears to be dead and he holds a mirror to her breath and sees...
Nothing. How does it feel when he kills himself? Because he just sees nothing.
Well, my experience as Juliet has been, particularly with an actor I shall not name, that while I'm lying there dead, and he is lamenting excessively, I get to thinking, if this slab of ham does not part from the ham hock of his life, toot sweet, I am going to scream, pop off the tube and plunge a dagger into his scene-stealing heart. Romeos are very undependable.
Because he does not care for Juliet.
What care?
Does he take her pulse? Does he get a doctor? Does he make sure? No. He kills himself. The illusion fools him because he does not care for her. He only cares about himself. If I had been Romeo, we would have got away.
But then there would be no play, Mr. Merrick.
If he did not love her, why should there be a play? Looking in a mirror and seeing nothing, that is not love. It was all an illusion. When the illusion ended, he had to kill himself.
Why, that is extraordinary.
Before I spoke with people, I did not think of all these things because there was no one to bother to think them for. Now, things just come out of my mouth which are true.
You are famous, John. We're in the papers. Look! They have written up my report to the Pathological Society. Look! It's a kind of an apotheosis for you.
Frederick, I feel that Mr. Merrick would benefit by even more company than you can provide. In fact, by being acquainted with the best, and they with him. I should like to make it my task, if you'll permit. As you know, I am a friend of nearly everyone, and I do pretty well as I please, and what pleases me is this task, I think.
My God, Mrs. Kendall, you are splendid.
Mr. Merrick, I must be going now. I should like to return, if I may. And so that we can, without delay, teach you about society, I should like to bring my good friend, Dorothy, Lady Neville. She would be most pleased if she could meet with you. Let me tell her yes. Then until next time, I am sure your church model will surprise us all. Mr. Merrick, it has been a very great pleasure to have made your acquaintance.
John! Your hand, John! She wishes to shake your hand.
Thank you for coming.
But it was my pleasure. Thank you.
What a wonderful success. Do you know, he's never shaken a woman's hand before.
Your Grace.
How nicely the model is coming along, Mr. Merrick. I've come to say Happy Christmas, and that I hope you will enjoy this ring and remember your friend by it.
Your Grace, thank you.
I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance.
Please accept these silver-backed brushes and comb for Christmas, Mr. Merrick.
With many thanks, Countess.
I am very pleased to have made your acquaintance.
Here's the silver-topped walking stick, Merrick. Make you a regular Piccadilly exquisite. Keep up the good work. Self-help is the best help. Example to us all.
Thank you, Lord John.
Very pleased to have made your acquaintance.
Her Royal Highness, Princess Alexandra.
The happiest of Christmases, Mr. Merrick.
Princess Alexandra has brought you a signed photograph of herself.
I am honoured, Your Royal Highness. It is the treasure of my possession. I have written to His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, to thank him for the pheasants and woodcock he sent.
You are a credit to Mr. Treves, Mr. Merrick. Mr. Treves, you are a credit to medicine, to England, and to Christendom. I am so very pleased to have made your acquaintance.
Good news, John. Bertie says we may use the royal box whenever I like. Mrs. Keppel says it gives a unique perspective. And for Christmas, ivory-handled razors and toothbrush.
And a cigarette case, my boy, full of cigarettes.
Thank you very much.
Look, Freddie, look, the model of St. Philip.
It is remarkable, I know.
And I do it with just one hand, they all say.
You are an artist, John Merrick, an artist.
I did not begin to build at first. Not until I saw what St. Philip's really was. It is not stone and steel and glass, but an imitation of grace flying up and up from the mud. So, I make my imitation of an imitation. But even in that is heaven to me, Mrs. Kendall.
That thought's got a good line, John. Plato believed this was all a world of illusion, and that artists made illusions of heaven.
You mean we are all just copies of originals?
That's it.
But who made the copies?
God, the demiurge.
He should have used both hands, shouldn't he?
Why all those toilet articles, tell me? He's much too deformed to use any of them.
Props, of course, to make himself, as I make me.
You? You think of yourself?
Well, he is gentle, almost feminine, cheerful, honest, within limits. A serious artist in his way, he is almost like me.
He is religious and devout. He knows salvation must radiate to us, for all is lost, which it's certainly not.
He seems practical, like me. He's seen enough of daily evil to be thankful for small goods that come his way. He knows which side his bread is buttered on, and counts his blessings for it. like me.
I can speak with him of anything, for I know he is discreet, like me.
How odd. I find him curious, compassionate, concerned about the world. Well, rather like myself, Freddie Treves, 1889 AD.
Of course, he is rather odd, and hurt, and helpless not to show the struggling. And so am I.
He knows I use him to raise money for the London. I'm certain he understands I would be derelict if I did not. He is wary of any promise, yet fits in well, like me.
I, as a seminarist, had many of the same doubts, struggled as he does, and hope they may be overcome.
When my husband, His Royal Highness Edward, Prince of Wales, asked Mr. Treves to be his personal surgeon, he said, "Dear Freddie, if you can put up with the elephant bloke, you can surely put up with me."
See him out of fashion, Freddie, as he sees me. Social contact's critical. Oh, by the way, ignore the bloody papers, all lies.
Merrick visibly worse than 86 to 87, that as he rises higher in the constellations of society, he gets visibly more grotesque, is proof definitive that he is like me. Like his condition, which I make no sense of. I make no sense of mine. But the papers are saying you broke the contracts. They're saying you've lost the money.
Freddie, if I were such a scoundrel, how would I dare face investors like yourself? Broken contracts? I never considered them actual contracts. Merely preliminary things to get the old deal underway. An actual contract is something between gentlemen, and this attack on me shows they are no gentlemen. Now, I only came to say that the company remains a terribly attractive proposition, don't you think? To be capitalised, if you could spare another... Ah, Mr. Gobb, how good to see you. I was just remarking how splendidly Merrick thrives here, thanks to yourself and Freddie.
Oh, John, allow me. I must take Frederick from you. Keep him at work. It's in his contract. Can't have him breaking it. Sort of thing makes the world fly apart, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
Sorry to hear you're so pressed. Expect we'll be seeing less of you around the London now.
Yes. Overdue, actually. Appointments in the city. Freddie, Mr. Gobb.
He plain fooled me. He was kind to Merrick.
You have risen fast and easily, my boy. You've forgotten how to protect yourself. Break now.
It does not seem right somehow.
The man's a moral swamp. Is that not clear yet? Is he attractive? Deceit often is. Friendly? Swindlers can be. Another loan? Not another penny. It may be your money, Freddie, but I'll not tolerate labouring like a navvy that the London should represent honest, charitable and compassionate science and have title entitled swindlers mucking up the pitch. He has succeeded in destroying himself so rapidly, you're not down to an instant he was his real aim all along. He broke the contracts, gambled away the money, lied, and like an infant in his mess, gurgles and wishes to do it all again. Never mind details, don't want to know. Break and be glad. Don't hesitate. Today. One-man moral swap. Don't get sucked in.
Have you seen the papers?
Yes. Yes. A great pity, Freddie. Today.
Freddie?
He has used us. I shall be all right. Come. John, I shall not be able to stay this visit. I must unravel a few matters. Nurse Island and Snork are
friendly and respectful, Frederick.
I'll look in a few days.
Did I do something wrong?
No.
This is a hospital, not a marketplace. Don't forget it, ever. Sorry. Not you. Me.
Well, shall we weave today? Don't you think weaving might be fun? So many things are fun. Most men really can't enjoy them. Their loss, isn't it? I like little activities that engage me. There's something ancient in it. I don't know, before all this. Would you like to try? John.
Frederick said, I may stay here for life.
And so you shall.
If he's in trouble.
Frederick is your protector, John.
If he's in trouble.
Who is that? Oh, is it not your mother? Oh, she is very pretty, isn't she?
Will Frederick keep his word with me? His contract, Mrs. Kendall. If he's in trouble.
What? His contract, did you say?
And will you?
I? What? Will I?
Has a mistress. The Irishman had one. Everyone seems to. Or a wife. Some have both. I have concluded I need a mistress. Bad enough not to sleep like others.
Sitting up, you mean? Couldn't be very restful.
I have to. Too heavy to lay down. My head. But to sleep alone, that is worst of all.
The artist expresses his love through his works. That is civilization.
Are you very shocked?
Why should I be?
Others would be.
I am not others.
I suppose it is hopeless.
Nothing is hopeless. However, it is unlikely.
I thought you might have a few ideas.
I can guess who has the ideas here.
You don't know something. I have never seen a naked woman.
Surely in all the fairs you worked,
I mean a real woman.
is one more real than another?
I mean, like the ones in the theatre, the opera.
Surely you can't mean they are more real.
In the audience. A woman not worn out early, not deformed by awful life. A lady, someone kept up, respectful of herself. You do not know what fairgrounds are like, Mrs. Kennedy.
You mean someone like Princess Alexandra?
Not so old, no.
Like Dorothy?
She does not look happy, no.
Lady Ella?
Too thin.
Then who?
Certain women, they have a kind of ripeness. They seem to stop at a perfect point.
My dear, she doesn't exist.
That is probably why I never saw her.
What would your friend Bishop Howe say of all this, I wonder?
He tells me I should put these things out of my mind.
Is that the best he can suggest?
I put them out of my mind. They reappeared. Snap.
What about Frederick?
He would be appalled if I told him.
I am flattered. Too little trust has maimed my life. That's another story.
What a rain! Are we going to read this afternoon?
Yes. Some women are lucky to look well, that is all. It's a rather arbitrary gift. It has no really good use. Though it has its uses, I will say that. Anyway, it does not signify very much.
To me, it does.
Well, you are mistaken.
What are we going to read?
Trust is very important, you know. I trust you.
Thank you very much. I have a book here of Thomas Hardy's. He is a friend of Frederick's. Shall we read that?
Turn around a moment. Don't look.
Is this a game?
I would not call it a game. A surprise.
What kind of surprise?
I saw photographs of you before I met you. You didn't know that, did you?
The ones from the first time, in '84? No, I didn't.
I felt it was unjust. I don't know why. I can't say my sense of justice is my most highly developed characteristic. You may turn around again. Well, a little fun, isn't it?
It is the most beautiful sight I have seen. Ever.
If you tell anyone, I shan't come again. We shall not talk, we shall not read, we shall do nothing. Wait. There. No illusions. Now. Well, what is there to say? I am extremely pleased to have made your acquaintance.
For God's sakes! What's going on here? What is going on?
For a moment, Reddy. Paradise.
But have you no sense of decency? Woman, dress yourself quickly! Are you not ashamed? Do you know what you are? Don't you know what is forbidden?
Come actually to ask your forgiveness.
I found a good home, Ross. I forgave you.
I was hoping we could work out a deal. Something new, maybe.
No!
See, I was counting on it. That you were kind-hearted, like myself. Some things don't change. Got to put your money on the things that don't, I figure. I figure from what I read about you, you don't change. Dukes, ladies coming to see you, ask myself why. Figure it's same as always was. Makes them feel good about themselves by comparison. Them things don't change. They're but for the grace of. So I figure you're selling the same service as always, to better clientele. Difference now is you ain't charging for it.
You make me sound like a whore.
You are. I am. They are. Most are. No disgrace, John. Disgrace is to be a stupid war. Give it for free. Not capitalise on the interest in you. Not to have a manager then is stupid.
You see this church? I am building it. The people who visit here, they are friends, not clients. I am not a dog walking on its hind legs.
See, I was thinking, charge these people. Pleasure of the Elephant Man's company. Something. Right spirit is everything. Do it in the right spirit, they pay happily. I'd take 10%. I'd be okay with 10%.
Bad luck's made you daft, Ross.
I helped you, John. Discovered you. Was that daft? No. Only daftness was being a gold mine without a shovel. Without proper connections. Like Treves has. What's daft? Ross sows, Treves harvests. It's not fair, is it, John? When you think about it. I do think about it. Because I'm old. Got something in my throat, you may have noticed. Something in my lung, too. Something in my belly, I guess, too. I'm not a heap of health, am I? But I do well with 10%. I don't need more than 10%. 10% to get me a future slightly better than a cobblestone. This lot would pay if you're charged in the right spirit. I don't ask much.
They're the cream, Ross. They know it. Man like you tries to make them pay, they'll walk away.
I'm talking about doing it in the right spirit.
They are my friends. I'd lose everything for you. Ross, you've lived your life. You robbed me of £48, 9 shillings, tuppence. You left me to die. Be satisfied. You've had enough. You kept me like an animal in darkness. You come back and want to rob me again. Will you not be satisfied? Now I am a man like others. You want me to return?
And a woman yet?
Is that what makes a man?
In my time it'd do for a start.
Not what makes this one. Yet I am like others.
Then I'm condemned. Got no energy to try nothing new. May as well go to the doss house straight. Die there anyway. Between filthy doss house rags. Nothing in my belly but acid. I don't like pain, John. The future gives pain sense. Without a future, 5%. John.
I'm sorry, Ross. It's just the way things are.
Oh, God. Then I'm lost.
Frederick, do you believe in heaven? Hell? What about Christ? What about God? I believe in heaven. The Bible promises that in heaven the crooked shall be set straight.
So did the rack, my boy. So do we all.
You do not believe?
Well, I will settle for a reliable general anaesthetic at this point. Actually, though, I had a patient once. A woman, operated on her for a woman's thing, used ether to anaesthetise. Tricky stuff. Didn't come out of it. Pulse stopped. No vital signs. Absolutely moribund. Just a big white dead mackerel. 5 minutes later, she fretted back to existence, like a lost explorer with a great scoop of the undiscovered.
She saw heaven.
Well, I quote her. It was neither heavenly nor hellish, rather like perambulating in a London fog. People drifted by, but no one spoke. London, mind you. Hell's probably the provinces. She was shocked it wasn't more exotic. But allowed as how, had she stayed and got used to the familiar, it did have hints of becoming a kinder bliss. She fled.
If you do not believe, why did you send Mrs. Kendall away?
Don't forget, it saved you once, my interference. You know well enough it was not proper.
How can you tell if you do not believe?
There are still standards we abide by.
They make us happy because they are for our own good.
Well, not always.
Oh.
Look, if you are angry, just say so.
Whose standards are they?
I'm not in the mood for this chipping away at the edges job.
That do not always make us happy, because they are not always for our own good.
Everyone's. Oh, well, mine. Everyone's.
That woman, that Juliet.
Juliet?
Who died and then came back.
Oh, I see. Yes, her standards too.
So?
So what?
Did you see her? Naked?
When I was operating, of course.
Oh.
Oh, what?
Is it okay to see them naked if you cut them up afterwards?
Oh, good Lord. I'm a surgeon. That is science.
She died. Mrs. Kendall didn't.
Yes. Well, she came back too.
And Mrs. Kendall didn't, if you mean that.
I am trying to read about anaesthetics. There's simply no comparison.
No.
Well, science is a different thing. This woman came to me to be... I mean... It is not... well, love, you know.
Is that why you look for anaesthetics?
It would be a boon to surgery.
Because you do not love them.
Love has got nothing to do with surgery.
Do you lose many patients?
Some.
Oh.
Oh, what? What does it matter? Don't you see? If I love, if any surgeon loves her or any patient or not, what does it matter? And what conceivable difference to you?
Because it is your standards we abide by.
For God's sakes, if you're angry, just say it. I won't turn you out. Go on, I am angry. Say it. I am angry. I am angry. I am angry!
I believe in heaven.
And it is not okay if they undress, if you cut them up, as you put it. Make me sound like Jack the Ripper!
No! You worry about anaesthetics.
Are you having me on?
You are merciful. I myself have proof. Is it not so? Well, is it not so?
Well, about Mrs. Kendall, perhaps I was wrong. These days, that is, I seem to lose my head. Taking too much on, perhaps. I do not know what is in me these days.
Will she come back, Mrs. Kendall?
I will talk to her again.
But will she?
No, I don't think so.
No.
There are other things involved. Very, that is, other things.
Well, other things. I want to walk now. Think. Other things. Why? Why won't she?
Because I don't want her here when you die.
Here's merely papier-mâché and paint, a swindler and a fake.
No. A genuine Dorset dreamer and a moral swab. Look, he so forgot how to protect himself, he's gone to sleep.
I must examine him. I will not keep him for long, Mr. Gold.
It would be an inconvenience, Mr. Merrick. He's a mainstay of our institution.
Exactly that brought him to my attention. I am Merrick. Here is my card. I'm with the mutations across the road.
Frederick, stand up. You must understand, he's very, very valuable. We've invested a great deal in him. He's personal surgeon to the Prince of Wales.
I only wish to examine him. I hadn't, of course, dreamed of changing him.
But he's a gentleman and a good man.
Therefore, exemplary for the study, as a cruel or deviant one would not be.
Oh, very well. Have him back for breakfast time or you feed him. Frederick, stand up. Up, you bloody donkey, up!
The most striking feature about him, note, was the terrifyingly normal head. This allowed him to lie down normally, and therefore to dream in the exclusive personal manner, without the weight of others' dreams accumulating to break his neck. From the brow projected a normal vision of benevolent enlightenment, what we believe to be a kind of self-mesmerized state. The mouth, deformed by satisfaction at being at the hub of the best of existent worlds, was rendered therefore utterly incapable of self-critical speech, thus of the ability to change. The heart showed signs of worry at this unchanging yet untenable state. The back was horribly stiff from being kept up against the wall to face the discontent of a world ordered for his convenience. The surgeon's hands were well developed and strong, capable of the most delicate carvings up, for others' own good. Due also to the normal head, the right arm was of enormous power, and was so incapable of the distinction between the assertion of authority and the charitable act of giving, that it was often to be found disgustingly beating others for their own good. The left arm was slighter and fairer, and may be seen in the typical position, hand covering the genitals, which were treated as a sullen colony, in constant need of restriction, governance, punishment, for their own good. To add a further burden to this trouble, the wretched man, when a boy, developed a disabling spiritual duality, and he was therefore unable to feel what others feel, nor reach harmony with them. Please. He would thus be denied all means of escape from those he had tormented.
Mr. Merrick, you have shown a profound and unknown disorder to us. You have said when he leaves here, it is for his prior life again. I do not think it ought to be permitted. It is a disgrace. It is a pity and a disgrace. It is an indecency, in fact. It may be a danger in ways we do not know. Something ought to be done about it.
We hope in 20 years we understand enough to put an end to this affliction.
20 years? Sir, that is unacceptable.
Had we caught it early, things might have been different. But his condition has already spread both east and west. The truth is, I'm afraid, we are dealing with an epidemic.
Still beavering away for Christ?
Yes.
I got your report. He doesn't know, does he?
The bishop?
I meant Merrick.
No.
I should be sorry when he dies.
It will not be unexpected anyway.
He's brought the hospital quite a lot of good repute. Quite a lot of contributions too, for that matter. In fact, I like him. Never regretted letting him stay on, though I didn't imagine he'd last this long.
His heart won't sustain him much longer. It may even give out when he gets off his bloody knees with that bloody man.
What is it, Fred? What has gone sour for you?
It is the overarch of things. Quite inescapable that as he's achieved greater and greater normality, his condition has edged him closer to the grave. So, a parable of growing up? To become more normal is to die? More accepted? To worsen? It is just a mockery of everything that we live by.
Sorry, Freddie, didn't catch that one.
Nothing has gone sour. I do not know.
Cheer up, man. You're knighted. Your clients will be kings. Nothing succeeds, my boy, like success.
I find my session with them utterly moving, Mr. Treves. When he struggled so, I suggested he might like to be confirmed. Well, he leapt at it like a man lost in a desert to an oasis.
He is very excited to do what others do, if he thinks it is what others do.
Do you cast doubt, sir, on his faith?
No, sir, I do not. Yet he makes each of us think that he is deeply like ourselves. Yet we are not like each other. I conclude that we have polished him like a mirror, and shout hallelujah when he reflects us to the inch. I have grown sorry for it.
I cannot make out what you're saying. Something troubling you, Mr. Treves.
Corsets, huh? How about corsets? Here is a pamphlet I've written, due mostly to the grotesque ailments that I've seen caused by corsets. Fashion overrules me, of course. My patients do not unstrap themselves of corsets. Some cannot. You know, I have so little time in the week, I spend Sundays in the poor wards to keep up with work. Work being 20-year-old women who look an abused 50 with worn-outedness, and young men with appalling industrial conditions I turn out as soon as possible to return to their labours. Happily, most of my patients are not poor. They are middle class. They overeat and drink so grossly. They destroy nature in themselves and all around them so fervidly, they will not last. Higher up, sir, above this middle class, I confront these same deformities, bulged out by unlimited resources and the ruthlessness of privilege into the most scandalous dissipation, yoked to the grossest ignorance and constraint. I counsel against it where I can. I am ignored, of course. Then what, sir, could be troubling me? I am an extremely successful Englishman in a successful and respected England, which informs me daily, by the way that it lives, that it wants to die. I am in despair, in fact. Science, observation, practice, deduction, having led me to these conclusions, can no longer serve as consolation. I apparently see things others don't.
I do wish I understood you better, sir, but that's a consolation. There is in Christ's church consolation.
I am sure we were not born merely for consolation.
But look at Merrick's happy example.
Oh, yes. You'd like my garden, too. My dog, my wife, my daughter. Pruned, cropped, pollarded, and somewhat stupefied. Very happy examples, all of them. Well, is it all we know how to finally do with whatever? Nature? Is it? Rob it? No, not really. Not nature, I mean. Ourselves, really. Well, myself, really. Robbed, that is. You do see, of course. Can't really figure out what else to do with them, can we?
Not exactly clear, sir.
I am an awfully good gardener. Is that clear? By God, I take such good care of anything. Anything. We are convinced. Are you not convinced? Him, I mean, is not very dangerously human. I mean, how could he be? After what we have given him. What you like, sir, is that he is so grateful for patrons, so greedy to be patronised, and no demands, no hopes. Past, perverted. Present, false. Future, nil. What better could you ask? He puts up with all of it. Of course, well, I do mean taken when I say given, as in what we have given him. But you knew that, I'll bet, because
Do you mean charity? Tell what you're saying.
Help me!
It is done.
Lunch, Mr. Merrick. I'll set it up for you. Maybe you'd like a walk after lunch. April's doing wonders for the gardens. My mate Will. Sister died yesterday. 28 she was. Made
wife got sick and sister nursed her. Was a real bloom, that girl. Well, now, wife okay, sister just ups and dies. Well, it was also, what's that word? Forgot it. It means chancy. Well, forgot it. Have a good lunch.
Chauncey.
We are the queens of the cosmos, beautiful darkness and darkness, darkness, light, truth, there is eternity by His hour. Speak like carpet, you learn to admire. Be like your mother, be like your stars.
Well, remember, Mr. Merrick, the word is arbitrary. Arbitrary. It's also... Hey! Hey! The elephant man is dead!
To the editor of the Times, Sir, in November 1886, you were kind enough to insert in the Times a letter from me drawing attention to the case of Joseph Merrick.
Oh, John. John Merrick.
Known as the Elephant Man. It was one of singular exceptional misfortune, etc., etc., debarred from earning his livelihood in any other way than being exhibited to the gaze of the curious, this having been rightfully interfered with by the police, etc., etc. With great difficulty, he somehow or other succeeded in getting to the door of the London hospital, where, through the kindness of one of our surgeons, he was sheltered for a time. And then, while deterred by common humanity from evicting him again into the open street, I wrote to you, and from that moment all difficulty vanished. The sympathy of many was aroused, and although no other suitable fitting refuge was offered, sufficient money was placed at my disposal, apart from the funds of the hospital, to maintain him for what did not propose to be a prolonged life.
I forgot. The coroner said it was death by asphyxiation. The weight of the head crushed the windpipe.
I go on to say about how he spent his time here. That all attempted to alleviate his misery. That he was visited by the highest in the land, etc., etc. That in general he joined our lives as best he could. And in spite of all this indulgence, he was quiet and unassuming, grateful for all that was done for him, and conformed readily to the restrictions which were necessary. Will that do so far, do you think?
I should think it would.
Wouldn't add anything else, would you?
Well, he was highly intelligent. He had an acute sensibility and, worse to him, a romantic imagination. No, never mind. I'm really not certain of any of it.
I have given these details, thinking that those who sent money to use for his support would like to know how their charity was used. Last Friday afternoon, though apparently in his usual health, he quietly passed away in his sleep. I have in my hands a small balance of the money for his support, which I now propose, after paying certain gratuities, to pass to the general funds of the hospital. This course, I believe, will be consonant with the wishes of the contributors. It was a courtesy of the Times in inserting my letter in 1886 that procured for this afflicted man a comfortable protection for the last years of a previously wretched existence, and I desire to take this opportunity of thankfully acknowledging it. I am, Sir, your obedient servant, F.C. Cargon, House Committee Room, London Hospital, 15th April, 1890.
Oh, I did think of one small thing.
It's too late, I'm afraid. It is done.
When you try your best but you don't succeed. When you get what you want but not what you need. When you feel so tired but you can't sleep. Stuck in rivers. And the tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace. When you love someone but it goes to waste. Could it be worse? Lights will